I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
James Altoff.
Here.
David Villalobos.
Here.
Lester Caper.
President.
Norman Stick.
Here.
Bill Fisher.
Here.
Ty Wilkeney.
Here.
Carl Brittingham.
Here.
Nick Mager.
Here.
Julie Rivera. Here. Robert Carnahan.
Here.
David Austin.
President.
Could I suggest that maybe for that state trooper that got killed, have a moment of silence for him?
Sure. Thank you. Elections? You're gonna do
You want me to do it? All right. Take nominations for chairman of the board.
I nominate Norm Stick.
Okay, nomination Norm Stick by Mr. Caper. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Altoff. Are there any other nominations? Nominations are closed. Roll call vote, please.
James Altoff.
Yes.
David Villalobos.
Yes.
Lester Caper.
Yes, ma'am.
Norm Stick.
Yes.
All right, sir, you got it for another year.
Thank you. Nominations for vice chairman?
I would nominate Charlie Keeper.
I'll second. Any other nominations? Roll call vote, please.
James Altoff.
Yes.
David Villalobos.
Yes.
Lester Caper.
Yes, ma'am.
Norm Stick.
Yes. Thank you. Public comment. Would like to come up? For you.
Oh, she can do it in public comment. All right.
Hi, I'm Diane Justice with the Cedar Lake Chamber of Commerce, and Maria Kamara is on the board of directors. And we were asked to consider donating to help with the light bar for the police department. And the Chamber Board of Directors had agreed that we would like to support one light bar. So we'd like to present you with a check for $1,500.
Thank you. That certainly goes a long way in helping the safety of our officers when they're stopped along the highway. We really appreciate it.
Well, I'll give it to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much.
We also got Kevin Totes from the chamber here, and I'm
Take a quick
also
picture?
on the chamber board too.
Would you like to come take a picture with us, Bob?
Sure.
You gotta leave the hat on, though.
Okay. Come on, Kevin.
Okay, you belong.
That's all right.
Come on,
Come on up. It's good you're
You're the chairman, so you get down there. I'll be over here small.
Yeah, but
Do a headshot.
You're the most comfortable.
Shoot from the head up then.
Okay.
But Diane, you're gonna have to stand up.
When I come back as tall as you are, we'll have a discussion.
And Charlie's
Hey,
also on
squeeze this
the
before.
chamber board.
There you go. Got two more coming.
All right, here, your lens wide.
Well, you asked you for me.
Just squeeze it behind you real quick. Excuse me. All right, here we go. There you go, that's perfect. All right, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you.
Good.
Woke up the dog.
Mr. Chairman, Chief Fisher and I had a conversation about switching the role a little bit here, so we can have our guests go first, so you can get back to Orland Park and a little bit of
That's fine.
ways away. Is that okay?
I'm becoming a big fan of Indiana, just so you know.
Are you? That's awesome.
Every day it grows.
All right. Indiana's getting bigger.
Yes,
Illinois is getting smaller, is that what you're trying to say?
that is.
Okay. Todd Conradi, paramedic Todd Conradi, he's in charge of our EMS right now. He'd like to put on a proposal for a service dog for the fire department, and put on a small presentation and let you meet as one of his colleagues in the system, service dog. As you can see, he's very mellow. And that's what we need in bad situations. We need a dog that's mellow. Did you give everybody? Yes. And, did you give one?
Yeah. And Julie got one, Kevin.
Who did you want me to give one to?
Kevin and, Diane.
So I do have a little bit of information here. A couple of stats. I'm not going to bore you guys with a bunch of numbers and everything, but as first responders, we run into a little bit of everything. And mental health is actually something we really need to be aware of, and it's very important to a lot of us in the first responder world. So there are some stats up at the top on first responder health specifically. I'm not going to sit here and quote them to you guys. I gave you the paperwork so you can take it home, read it on your own, take notes on it, whatever you want. Also at the very back, there's some web pages for some of the agencies that I'm referencing in this sheet, if you want to get some more information. But what we are trying to do at the fire department is get a therapy dog, like Leo here, to help us decompress after bad days, after bad calls, bad incidents. Not only for the fire department, but the police department with our new building. We are going to be neighbors very close, so we can go over there, help out with other departments in the town as well, neighboring departments as well, and then it'll also be a good, public, just like a public outreach program for schools, when we do our picnic with, or our shopping with the firemen, stuff like that as well. So what these dogs do is, being around a dog, it helps lower your blood pressure, helps reduce some of your stress hormones, helps us relax, and can take care of some of these long-term mental health issues that we have in the first responder world. You can see down here with the donations, what I would like to do is get a Labrador, like Leo here. There's a group up in Wisconsin, a breeder that does a lot of work with therapy dogs. They have a long proven bloodline for therapy dogs as well. They're willing to donate the dog to us. The dogs usually run around $2,200 to $2,500 for their AKC certified and everything. But they are willing to donate the dog. We have different agencies in the area that are willing to donate all the food. Hanover Vet will do all of the assessments and exams for free, and they will only charge us their cost for any vaccinations, anything like that. I haven't reached out to all the departments in the area, but a lot of the departments I have spoken with are interested in having a therapy dog come by and visit their crews after bad days, bad calls, and stuff like that. So this can be a good bridge for our department to reach out and help our neighbors as well. Go down the list here, Protecting Canine Heroes. They are obviously based here in Cedar Lake. They're willing to donate a crash-rated crate for us to mount in a vehicle to transport the dog around. I already touched on Hanover Veterinary Clinic. Also, Home and Nursery, they will be donating the food, any treats, bowls, leashes, collars, stuff like that. They said they will take care of for us. When it comes to training, the first part that we would have to do is just basic obedience, teaching the dog to behave when out in public. And then from there, there's a wonderful program down in Brevard County, Florida. They charge only $100 for the entire week. It's a 40-hour class that's specific to first responder therapy dogs. So it teaches not only how to be a public outreach dog, but also how to work specifically with first responders and the special things that we run into. They also talk about how we can use the dog to help with victims that have been assaulted, who are stressed out and need to make a statement to the police department. I've talked with Chief Fisher a little bit about it. He said he's interested in exploring the idea. We would obviously need to work out a bunch of stuff with that as well.
But what they do is they can go in, this dog talks with people, or not talks with people, spends time with you. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's a special dog.
I mean, but being.
If the dog can talk, well, you can take over. We're gonna show you a trick in just a minute.
So they go in, they spend time with these people who are victims of crime, they help people relax, and it increases the people's recall so they can give better statements. And then the conviction rate goes up for the police officers when they end up taking these people to court. So it helps the citizens as well as our first responders. The different stuff down at the bottom here does talk about some of the web pages of like Operational Canine in Wisconsin. That's a group that I volunteer with where we teach canine first aid to handlers, police officers, and everything. I've actually worked a lot with Officer Johnny and the entire fire department, teaching how we can take care of the dog if he ever gets hurt. The dog would also be a teaching dog for that, because when we teach, we need live dogs for people to practice their assessments, interacting with dogs and stuff like that as well. And a Labrador, obviously, is a lot more laid back and easygoing than some of these shepherds and Malds. You want me to say?
Yes.
Okay. Just gotta make sure, pardon me. So the dog would be out helping teach first responders as well, teach them how to take care of their own dogs if they were shot, stabbed, injured in the line of duty. Be multi-state when we do this teaching as well. Patriot Canines is the one that would actually be donating the dog. They're a veteran-owned company. They do a lot of pre-screening for these dogs. They're not just a puppy mill that just get as many dogs as they can to sell. They actually screen the dogs beforehand. They do genetic testing, make sure that the dogs are free from any of the genetic diseases that the labs are predisposed to. They do a lot of early neurological stimulation, and when the puppies are not even a month old yet, expose them to different scents, different temperatures and stuff like that. It helps their brain develop at a younger age, so they become better with scents and better with empathy and bonding with people and able to help out. There's a link here as well to the Brevard County Sheriff training, so if you have any information about or any questions about that, you can always look that up as well. In a nutshell, that's my quick presentation. I obviously wanted to bring a dog and a handler here, so this is Leo from Orland Park Police Department and his handler. I'll let him introduce himself and talk a little bit about what he has done with his dog and some of the events, and while he's starting that, I have another handout for you guys. It's just 2 pictures, but I will let him explain the story behind them, and I think it will give you a little better insight as to what therapy dogs can actually do. So,
hello everybody, my name is Rich Miller. I work for the Orland Park Police Department in Illinois, 40 minutes away from here. I'll tell you a little bit about Leo. Leo's a 3-year-old Labrador Retriever, and he is a graduate of the Paws and Stripes program put on by the Brevard County Sheriff of Florida. Excellent program, and it doesn't cost a thing. $100 to get them certified, and that's it. You get them, we run with them. We've had Leo since September of 2021, and I think we have done over 500 events in Illinois, Indiana. We've been there quite a few times. We've done a lot with Stacy from Protecting Canine Heroes. She's great, a great resource. So what I'll do is I'll open it up to any questions you may have as soon as I explain the story behind these 2 photographs that were just passed out. You can see on the first page, that is the widow of Chicago Police Officer Andres Vasquez-Lasso. Andres was shot and killed on March 1st of last year. Leo and I responded with the 100 Club of Illinois to Mount Sinai Hospital, where we worked with the police officers that were on the call with him, and we did a lot of work with his family, starting in the emergency room the night it happened. It was unfortunate, though, because his wife is a flight attendant, and she was not in town when it happened. So we dealt with a lot with his cousins and other family members. If you flip to the second page, I'll tell you that this is the most profound moment in my career, in my 23-year career. We did the wake and funeral with her for her husband. Leo was with her the whole entire time. He laid right at her feet in the funeral parlor. Leo was the only dog allowed in the funeral in the, church at the funeral. So subsequent to those events, we went to a benefit 2 months later for her husband, fundraising benefit. She walked in the room, she saw Leo, and that's the first time I've ever seen her smile. That's the benefit that these dogs create. She remembered him, she walked in the room, and beeline past everybody, right to Leo. So, these dogs do have an impact. They really do. And they're a lot of fun to be around. Great with kids. So I'll happy to answer any questions you guys may have. If you have questions about Brevard County, I can help you with that as well.
I'd like to make a statement about the training in Florida. I have talked to a couple organizations that would pay for the cost to fly down there and to get back, so that cost will be covered as well.
Right.
I'm not
Southwest
gonna.
Airlines does a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who yet because
Okay.
we haven't got a commitment from the Board of Safety yet, but, it won't cost anything to send them down to feed our firefighter either, and or the dog for the week, but, those expenses would be paid for as well.
Leo cost the Village of Orland Park next to nothing. The only cost that we incurred, which since you got it covered and you lucked out, was upfitting the squad car with a canine cage. In Illinois, it's a state law, any working dog has to be transported in a crate inside of a squad car. So whether it be a canine insert, which takes up the whole back of the squad car, or you use the trunk area for a smaller cage. The bigger the dog, the more room they're gonna need, so my recommendation would be to outfit a squad car with the canine insert. He loves riding in the car.
They all do.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if we touched on peer support at all. It's becoming big in the first responder community. We do a lot with that. Leo and I are peer support trained. We all recall the shooting in Highland Park after that happened. Leo and I were up there and we did the critical incident stress debriefings with both police and firefighters. He was worth his weight in gold those 2 days we were up there.
This cage will go in a fire vehicle, not a police squad, right?
Well,
Yes, we have 2 police vehicles that were donated by the police department, used ones, older ones. And Todd is taking over the EMS chief's position, so and he's got a vehicle, so we could outfit that vehicle for him. All pending approval, so.
So for Chief Leo, we do respond to CIT type calls. You guys are familiar with CIT, which is mental health related incidents. We do respond to those as well. It's pretty much, we do a lot. He's the most popular dog. He's the most popular employee of our police department. He really is. He's got his own social media page with almost 3,000 followers from all over the country. So you will get noticed that way.
Todd, I know one of the questions will be, I'm gonna ask it before one of the commissioners do.
Yes, sir.
Cost of training and to continually train the dog.
The initial training, like I said, is just going to be me having the dog with me, getting exposed to being around people, obedience, stuff like that. Once we go, pending approval, of course, we can make it down to Florida, to the Brevard County one. We've actually been offered to train with Orland Park and their therapy dog group. So there's going to be stuff with that as well. And then it's just when I go to classes, when I go out in public, just getting the dog used to people. It's going to be an ongoing training, but it's just the dog living its life with me is the main part of the training.
So really, there's no special, like a police dog, there's no specialized training on.
No, there's no
tracking and stuff
how
like that.
often do you have to recert in Brevard County? Is it every 2 years? I believe you have to
It
upkeep.
is. So the first recert is after 2 years,
Mhm.
and then you don't have to do it again for another 3.
So that would be the only actual certification that would need to be kept up with the dog.
Leo and I just got back from Brevard County, so we don't have to go down for another 3 years. But before that happens, there's a handler in Illinois who works for the Cook County Sheriff who is going to be able to train up here and get us certified down there, if that makes sense. So we don't have to travel back down to Florida in 3 years. Although, we'd like to.
Wasn't bad duty.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Although we were down in December, it was kind of cold, a little windy.
Now, the police dog, Chief Fisher, we have to pay the officer that handles that dog an hour, pay every day?
Half hour on their off days, it's required by federal law.
Okay, and we'd have the same thing for this?
It's required, if it's a working animal, then yes.
Okay.
And we would obviously try to limit all his training to his shift time, so, because he's gonna be there 24 hours a day, so.
Yeah, so that's what I do with me at work.
Yeah.
I train with Leo while I'm on duty.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask, so will he live at the firehouse or with his handler?
Only when he's on shift will he be at the fire station, but then he will go home, just like a police dog would, but other than, when he works shift work, he'll sleep at the station with him. He'll be with Todd all the time.
You can ask a question.
Be my sidekick.
With that breed, and I'm not that familiar with the breed, I know they're very friendly dogs and great for this particular job. Is there a life expectancy, is there a career expectancy, when you talk about certifications, what's an average dog make for E4 certifications throughout its career? Are we talking 10, 12 years?
That's a great question. These dogs, these therapy dogs, can work their entire lives barring any illness or injury. They're not like your other police dogs that are, jumping fences and running after bad guys and doing things like that. This is what therapy dogs do.
As you can see, he's really hyper.
The world is his clam. He will lay anywhere, sleep anywhere. But yeah, great question. They can work their whole life.
Roll over.
Don't move, don't move.
Stay right
Is,
there.
any other, questions across the floor anywhere? Well, I certainly thank you for coming over.
Oh, thanks for having me very much.
Tonight,
Thank you.
and, giving your presentation.
For
sure. At this point in time, we're gonna take this, under advisement.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody want to pet him before we get out of here?
I was gonna come out and pet him, but
One of the things I'd like to mention is the opportunities to work with the schools. And the schools have, plenty of opportunities to be able to, use a dog in the school as well. So, when Todd is on duty, he'd be able to visit the schools and do some good public relations work, and not to mention help. We have had some incidents in our school where we've had some, mental health issues where we recently had one in a cornfield that, we had to track down and had all in Northwest Indiana looking for this kid, and, he was special needs, and this would kind of be a perfect opportunity to introduce, a therapy dog to a child like that, so. I think we have a unique opportunity. We have a handler that is also a, trained, medic for dogs and can also teach that. And with the high volume we have and the types of calls we have in this community, I know that I go home and first thing I do is grab my dog. We do have our own peer support, and we sit and talk and we discuss our incidents to the point where the fire department and the police department both have people that have been through the programs. And this would be this dog would be an awesome tool, and we have, like I said, an opportunity under the direction of somebody that's very good with dogs for little to no cost to the town. So I'm asking the commission, after you take it under advisement, to make a favorable recommendation to move forward with the therapy dogs.
A lot of things to be worked out on that one.
All you gotta do is tell me, so.
Is the dog property of the town, or is it?
Would the dog be property of the town?
The Patriot Labs will donate the dog to me personally, so the dog would be my personal dog. That we could always have the town sponsor or the fire department sponsor.
Well, I'm just concerned, not that you would leave us, but if you would leave us, what happens to the dog? Are we without a handler, or does the dog go with you?
Part of the agreement with Patriot Labs would be that if I were no longer able to have the dog, it has to return to them. So the dog would be mine personally, and if I were to leave, it would end up going with me unless we figured out something else out.
Okay.
Okay, so, you wanna do,
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the dog to leave.
okay. Thank you guys very
All
much.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Would you like anything as well?
Yeah, it's, your presentation is done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you for
Thank you.
your time. Appreciate it.
So I'm gonna go back to, public comment for the second time. Anybody have public comment? Third time? Okay, thank you. And, I forgot, I didn't introduce our new liaisons, Julie Riviera, Bob Carnahan. Bob Carnahan and I go back to first grade at MacArthur School, and I think the school was new that year, so.
Wow, that school is gone north.
Wow.
I got pictures, and when this new one gets, done, I'm going to take a before and after of the school that we went to when they had 8th grade there.
It only went up to 6.
No, it went to 8.
So after you guys left, they had to tear the building down? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it was getting kind of old. And I did walk uphill one way.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I had a superintendent of the Crown Point school system tell me that by tearing down the old structure, if they rehabbed it, they'd get 19 classrooms. But by building the new structure, they'd get 26 classrooms, so I didn't object to it. I was involved with the PTO at that time.
Mr. Chairman, if you wanna go to the VIPS report while the other
That's-
dog's coming over.
Sure, that's fine, thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
In front of you got the December 2023 VIPS report. Everybody made their hours, with 6 total details, some meetings, call-outs, and then 2 ice fest days.
Anybody have any questions? Did we get a new volunteer?
No, sir.
No.
We're trying, right, Ed?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your, time.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, Board, Ben, come on up here. I'd like to introduce you to Officer Ben Tomko and his partner Johnny. He is a 2-year-old Belgian Malinois therapy dog. And, no, just kidding, not a therapy dog. He is a dual-purpose narcotics patrol dog. He's doing pretty good. He's nice and filled out now. He's pretty excited right now, I can see. But he's been on the road now for about 8 months-ish? 7 months?
Started June 8th on the road.
Started in June on the road and has been knocking out some really good training, so.
So,
This is Johnny.
so Leo has a badge.
He has a badge.
Didn't see it?
He doesn't keep it on him unless it's
All right, just checking.
yeah.
So,
Otherwise he gets banged up really bad. So.
I'm teasing.
Yeah.
So tell us, what goes on in a day, with Johnny?
On a typical work day, it varies. I mean, we can be busy, or like today, didn't do much. If other agencies call us, we'll go assist them. Nowadays, just about almost every PD around here now has a dog. Lowell, I think, was maybe the last department around here to get a dog, and they just got one yesterday, I believe.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. But I've gone to Cherville. Cherville has 3 dogs on their department, but they work a power shift. So like in the morning time, they don't have any dogs out, so I've gone up there a couple times. But he's pretty mellow when we're at work. He just kind of lays down. When the car stops, he'll get up and look around, see what's going on. But as soon as we get home and this big thick collar comes off, he's just like any other dog you may have at home. Just wants to play and super friendly.
So what is that, as long as he don't sit down, he's okay?
Yeah, so
Is
he's
that when
passive
he-
alert, so, if he was, you know, to sniff what, you know, whatever in here, you know.
I told Ed to leave it at home.
And that would be like an alert for him, it's just a sniff. It's passive alert, there's some dogs that are, I think, would maybe call them aggressive alert, where they will bark, jump and scratch.
Historically, though, they're getting away from that simply because it causes damage and you can't tell when the dog's on. So, my dog was an aggressive alert, meaning when he got to narcotics, he would scratch at the source. But we've found over the years of training that passive alert's better, so.
You want to explain a little bit of what happened at the dedication of the dog park, what the dog did and the person that worked with you?
Yeah, so that was a few months back, when the dog park opened, we did a demonstration, and that was, aggression-based. It was raining that day. We had other stuff planned, but due to the rain, you know, putting out narcotics and stuff would potentially ruin them, it's, you know, the rain, so we just did aggression, so, that day we did, the decoy ran, and I sent him from a good ways away, and he apprehended him. I think it was Officer King, who's on my shift, was the one in the bite suit that day, and he actually took him down to the ground about every time. And then officer protection is one of, the things they're trained in, so, I put him in a sit or a down next to me, and, I walked up to they call him a decoy when the person's in a bite suit, takes me to.
Smells Leo.
That's where the other dog was laying.
And I went up to the decoy, and me and the decoy started fighting, and, at that point, you don't have to tell the dog, his command to, engage. They just know that, somebody's fighting my dad, I have to protect him. So that was kind of cool for everybody to see that, at the dog park opening.
You might want to take him the other side.
This chair's,
Yeah.
So what is your, do you have the typical call that, like this, when other departments call you for assist, or?
So most of the time when I get called, it's mostly for, a free air sniff of a vehicle for drugs, you know, they suspect there's drugs. I was called one time by Assistant Sheriff with, it was something of kind of a barricaded subject, and that was just basically to hold perimeter just in case, the suspect had come out and tried to flee, you know, but majority of the time, at least so far, it's just been, you know, drug sniffs that I've been called for other departments.
And, so has he been successful? Have you had, you know, a lot of checks with the drug sniffs?
Yeah, about maybe a week and a half ago, I stopped a car, and deployed him, and there was approximately 4 grams of heroin in the car that he found. That was the latest one, about a week ago, or so I think it was. So, every time I've needed him, he's been successful. I think the second time I ever used him, the first fine he ever had was for Lake County. They called me, that was off of, 109th and Calumet, that was his first fine. The second fine was for St. John, and that was a substantial amount of, narcotics that they found in that vehicle. And that was, I think we were on the road for just a few weeks when we found those two. But believe it or not, which is a good thing for the town, I think, the problems that we had prior to him being on the road, I think have slowed down quite a bit. I think the chief would attest to this. Before we got him, I would say we were calling for St. John's dog, because they're the closest.
Pretty regularly.
Yeah, and I would say, since we've had him, I think just the vehicle driving around with canine on the side is a deterrent in itself. They know that the potential of a dog being there is a lot higher than, having to call an outside agency, and if they're busy on their own call, they're, you know, they can't respond to a different town, you know what I mean, just like here, if I'm on doing something, I can't go anywhere else. So even just having the dog has been a huge deterrent, in my opinion, in town, and, stopping some of the stuff that was a problem in the past, which is a very good thing.
Have you been called off duty?
Yep. It's not often, our policy states that, you know, the closest dog, available dog, you know, you have to try before calling an off-duty dog, but I do live in town, so sometimes, depending on where the dog's coming from, if the dog's in Cherville, you know what I mean, and the stop is, I live off a 150-person parish, so, sometimes I'm closer than even an on-duty dog. One time, I used a dog right down the street from my house, believe it or not. So I mean, I was right there, and a lot of the times you have to get the closest dog because it can be detrimental to a case. You know, you can't delay the stop waiting for a dog.
Yeah, there's case law on it.
Certain circumstances, so it really depends. We were called off duty, I think, back in the fall, maybe at Lemon Lake, and, it was, a person in distress was, walking the trails, and I was off, and they called me, and Johnny was able to, track them down and find them. So that was a nice rewarding, search, you know, for a person. That's the only, track that I can remember that we've done so far, and it was a success, which was good.
So he's trained on human scent also?
Yeah, so he can find narcotics, and then, he does tracking, trailing, so, they track off ground disturbance and human odor, is how the dog tracks, so he's trained in that.
Speaking of training, what's the demands on training? What's mandatory, like for recertification? How time consuming is, how much of your time is, required for this dog to be trained?
The standard is about 12 to 16 hours of training a month, which, I always meet that. And then certification, there's different ones. The first one I did was, Ipwata was the one that we certified with when I was in Michigan for the initial training. And if I remember correctly, that's a 14-month certification. So every 14 months you recertify, and that's in all your areas: aggression, narcotics, article search, tracking, and there's different criteria. So like in aggression, you have to have a verbal out. So you send the dog on a decoy, and you have to verbally out them. The decoy is at a certain distance. You send your dog, and you have to call them off. So the dog is running at the decoy, trying to apprehend them, and you have to call your dog off. So the dog has to lay down or come back to you. Either one is acceptable, and then you can do an apprehension. You can get them off any type of way. So normally on the road in real life, it would be called a strong out, where you just pick the dog up, you know, by its collar and get them off. And just recently, not too long ago, when I was training with Lake County, they do a different certification. It's AWD, American Working Dog, and that's through Bond Lake down in Denver, Indiana. And that day, they were training at a nursing home in Crown Point, Wittenberg, and I didn't even plan on certifying that day. I just went for the training day, and we did our drug stuff. And we certified, or he certified quite easily in that. And then the next thing we did was aggression, and I told the guys, you know, just go ahead, you know, I'll wait to the end. I want you guys to certify, because the aggression, certification aggression and what your everyday aggression is on the street are two different things. If you train too much for the certification, your dog won't engage on the street when you need it to. So you really don't work your certification style stuff you only do it for a couple weeks leading up to a certification. and we hadn't done it in months. And, he certified in just a few tries, with that AWD certification that we had never done before. So now he has a dual certification, he has an IPWATA certification and an AWD certification. There's actually no requirement for certifications in the state of Indiana, but when you go to court,
Better have it.
right, it looks very good, and even having more than one is even better. And we were able to pay for that, through the K-9 fund, you know, for donations and stuff like that that we have in the fund, so,
So is this training done on duty or off duty?
it depends. If we have the manpower on the road, my crew has 5, specifically, so if I need to go to training during work, I can. Now that I've been on the road for 7 months and he's been doing pretty well, most of the training I'm trying to do now is off duty, just so I'm not taking, you know, manpower off the road.
And that's overtime?
It's comp time. So each training session is 4 hours. So a normal training day would be 12 hours, you know, like our regular work schedule. So me and the chief discussed, instead of getting one whole day, I split that training day up into 3, so I can go to three times a month, you know, compensated, for me and the dog, opposed to, you know, a lot of departments do like one day, 12-hour day or 8-hour day, whatever they're on. But it's not, I mean, you go to training for 4 hours and then you're supposed to do canine care stuff with the dog for the other hours. But that's built into my days off anyway, so.
So is that once a month, 3 times a month? I mean, how many
Did I
times?
go to train?
Yeah, off duty.
It just depends.
Most
I
of,
have to get 12 hours a month, so
most
I
of the time
minimum.
it's 3 times a month.
12 hours a month, okay.
But it's usually 4-hour blocks, 3 times a month.
At minimum, it's gotta be 12 hours. That's what the minimum is. But I try to exceed that, and it's not only, he seems pretty, he's calm now, but the Malinois, they're pretty high strung. So going to training isn't just, it's training, but it's also a release for them, you know what I mean? Because at home, he can be pretty rambunctious. So it's nice, and that's what they love to do. I mean, all they want to do is work, you know what I mean? They get so excited and they know when you go to training, they hear all the dogs, and they see the dogs, so when they get to training, they get really excited, and it's, you know, a training day, like, especially my wife, she knows when we come home from training, because he's a lot more chilled out than a regular day off when, you know, we're just at the house, or, you know, he's not working or anything, so.
So do you take the dog into court to do stuff with the courts?
No,
No?
No, I don't, I've never heard of,
no,
he could probably testify to that better than me.
no. The judge's not gonna let that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I have to testify, it's gonna be me by myself. He's gonna be in the car, I'll be happy to testify in his defense.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Anybody on the floor have a question?
Have there been any, unanticipated expenditures with this animal since we've had him?
So, the department actually has very little expenses for the dog. My food is donated through Alta Nursery, it's completely free. I was able to get the vet care donated. He is sponsored by Hebron Animal Hospital, so all of his vet bills are free. The only thing we have to pay for is his flea and tick and heartworm medicine, and that's every 6 months, and we get 50% off. So I believe it's approximately $110 per 6 months, and that money comes out of the K-9 fund, and the money in the K-9 fund is all, you know, we got through donations and stuff like that.
Which we actually have someone in the audience, Mr. Brothers, and it's in the back there, walked in with his wife about 2 weeks ago and donated to the K-9 program for $250, so it was a big help for us.
So really, anything other than, by federal labor standards,
that I have to be compensated for. I think that's the only thing that comes out of like the actual department's budget. Everything else is out of that canine fund. And, I mean, majority of the stuff is donated. The biggest expense we would have if it wasn't donated would be the food. Because that's, I have to get food, he eats 4 cups of food a day. So that would be our biggest expense, and thankfully that's, it's provided by Allsup, and the vet care is another big thing too, and, Hebron has graciously, sponsored him is what they call it, they sponsor him, and, they're very good down there, they get you in, I could call them tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and I could be in there by 2 o'clock. They're very, very good down there, and he takes priority, over, you know, anything else, you know, no matter what. They're very kind down there.
The only expense that was probably not expected was we had to get an outdoor kennel for him, that we wanted to try to raise it over time, but it turns out he needed it rather quickly, so we found one, that was pre-built. I got a donation for $2,500 for it, so the department came up with $2,500, but we were able to encompass that, so, other than that, we don't really see any bills. I mean, the most expense is just for the officer. You know, his overtime, he gets a half hour a day on his days off, by federal law, and then any of the training time, so.
In the overtime.
And then, or call-outs, because he gets a minimum call-out time, so.
Anything else, Dave?
No, it's good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, sir.
Do you want me to bring him up for you guys to see closer, or are you guys good?
No, it's okay.
He's very friendly. I
He's
promise.
all right, he'll just come and sniff you.
Does anyone want to? Yeah.
Bring him up there. Good boy.
Just for the purpose of everybody knowing, I post quite a bit on our social media Facebook page about Johnny, and a lot of those videos of his training and just things they put on at the dog park, that's on Facebook, so if anybody's interested in seeing that.
On the police page? On the police page?
The police department's Facebook page, yeah, the official Sealy Police Department Facebook page. Because he is also a very big PR tool, and you'll see that on the page as well. We take quite a few photo ops with them, and
Do me a favor, can you try to run that way?
No, I'll take a pass.
Bring him over here and let him check out Charlie.
That's right.
Sniff me, see if you can.
He would have been like, oh, this is my place. Yeah. He's doing good with his dog, and
I
I'm
used
worried
to
about
be big
that.
into bird dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was kinda asking, I'm kind of aware how they smell and whatever.
Right,
so.
right. A lot of similarities.
Check him out. See ya.
They bang you.
Uh-oh.
I was there for the dog park opening.
I just want to clarify, he didn't sit down.
Well, he shouldn't listen to you, Norm, he's only supposed to listen to the handler.
No, he didn't sit down.
Oh,
You don't want him chasing.
Pretty dog.
And he has a very, very.
He is sitting next to Charlie, though.
Dog that.
gotta tell you something.
You look at him, he sat down.
Should we check him?
Even after his aggression work, he comes out.
Should we check Charlie?
Check out.
Actually, the dog sat down and rolled over on his back. Hey, big dog. How are you? Go ahead, smell him.
Smell of my leg.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if I believe I'm correct, we are at number 3, approval of the minutes
Enjoyed everything.
of Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. Can I have that motion, please?
I have one change on that. It was listed in the minutes that the comfort dog for the fire department was a comfort/search dog. It's not a search dog.
No.
It's a comfort,
Yeah.
it's not a search. Okay, that's the only change I would have made.
Okay.
Second, approving the correction.
Was the first by Mr. Altough?
Sure, with that change.
So who made the motion?
Jim?
Okay, and then who,
I concurred.
you concurred, roll call vote, please?
James Altough?
Yes.
David Villalobos?
Yes.
Lester Caper?
Yes, ma'am.
Norm Stick?
Yes. Thank you. Police Department, number 5, communications.
Board members, like I said earlier, we do have Mr. Broadhurst's wife came into the police station about a week ago, I think it was, right, Terry? Maybe a little bit longer. And donated $250 to the K-9 program, so we're very thankful for that. We also received a $400 donation from Schillings, which is pretty standard. They do that pretty much every year for us, which is pretty awesome. We received a thank you card from the Bilgree family. Tammy, former town employer, mother, suddenly passed away, so we sent some flowers to her. Received a thank you card from Cedar Lake Ministries for some past assistance that we helped them with some employees that were terminated and they needed help with. And then we received a card from Kathy Tomko, Ben's mom. Ben's grandmother passed away unexpectedly, so we sent some flowers out to them as well. That's it.
Okay, number 6, finances.
As you can see, we did not spend much money in the month of December as we were on a blockade from the town hall. We couldn't spend any money, so we had 3 items, wiper blades, some armory items, and then just some wiper blades. So $172 for the whole month. Needless to say, January will be a lot more.
I see that already.
Okay, we're going to number 7, staffing, pay.
General staffing is good. I don't know if the board is capable or ready to at least make a list. Should they give us that ability to hire someone in April, we have interviewed the 3 candidates that were on the final interview process, so I'd really like to just have that list so that I can let them know that what their rankings are. Should the town give us the ability to, so.
That would be fair.
Next month?
We'll discuss it in the executive session.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Sounds good. Other new business, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Ed Smith. Ed is form of VIPS. Is it called VIPS in Arizona, or the warm country? Worked out there, but he's volunteered to come on board and be another one of our crossing guards. As our former chief that was working there, Jim Hunley, no longer wants to do it, and so Ed's going to take over his position. So I need an approval from the Board of Safety to bring Ed on as a crossing guard.
So was it too cold for Hunley?
I just don't think it was, well, it
Not
was
his cup of tea?
it was twofold. One, he was already on a board for the town,
Right.
so I was told that he couldn't have 2 paid positions from the town.
Lucrative.
Yeah. Yeah. Very lucrative.
That's actually what Jennifer, that's the word she used, lucrative, so,
Yeah,
okay.
so, I don't think it was that lucrative. It might have been like, a couple bucks a month, but, I'd like to bring Ed on with your approval.
Did you ask how much they pay you, Ed?
Whatever is fine with me.
Oh, okay.
We've developed a pretty good relationship over the years. He comes, over the past probably 6 months. Ed shows up every Wednesday for prayer and pledge with us, and, that's pretty awesome, so, man of faith, just like myself.
Good. Ed.
Ed Smith.
It's
It's a hard one.
Motion to accept, Ed, it's right here in the minutes.
Would you like to say
Ed
anything?
Smith for, crossing guard.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
James Olthoff?
Yes.
David Villalobos?
Yes.
Lester Caper?
Yes, ma'am.
Norm Stick?
Yes. Welcome aboard. And
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything, Tom? You're more than welcome to.
No, real quickly, we were talking about the dog at the fire department. Like, when I was in Arizona, I was the commander of the VIPS there, and I did all the victim service calls. And you talk about stress for the people, like myself, there was only 5 of us, and we did have a dog that really, you go on a call, we were sudden death, or whatever the case was, or a lot of situations. It was nice to have that dog there, just to be able to pet, talk to, believe it or not. I could talk to the dog, my wife. Sometimes she'd listen, sometimes she wouldn't, you know.
So you realize this is, being televised?
Good news is, she's really hard of hearing. You wouldn't know that.
Great.
So were you in Phoenix, Arizona? Florence. flux, so, okay.
Thank you. for
Yeah, and
joining
I'm
us.
still trying to convince him to join the VIPS program. He's shy, but we're working at it. So, thanks, buddy. You're on board. Welcome to town.
Thank you.
So we'll get his packet together with the clerk's office, and we're pretty close to being ready to go. So he's gonna train with Jack for the next couple of days, you know, extensive training on taking that stop arm and putting it out there.
Is that a right procedure?
There's a right procedure and a wrong one, yeah.
It's the right hand or left hand?
That's correct.
Good. Is that like wax
No,
on or wax off?
It'll be good for the kids, so.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll
Next
move.
is a training report.
Yes.
As you can see, in the month of December, we didn't have but one training, it was December. So we had a SWAT training.
And then, is that all for number 9?
Just equipment and general equipment updates, new vehicles. So I've been given the amount in our CCD fund for new vehicles and have the ability to go forward with the purchase of 4 new vehicles for this year. So I would like the board's approval to start seeking bids for new vehicles for 2024.
Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion. Approve.
Second?
Second? Roll call vote, please.
James Olthoff?
Yes.
David Villalobos?
Yes.
Lester Caper?
Ma'am.
Norm Stick?
Yes. So how are
Next
we,
month, I'll bring you the bids and let you know what we got.
we're gonna kind of, talk over some lighting solutions?
Yeah, we're actually gonna review them completely because of the issue. So we have a appointment with our lighting people to correct those problems, so we
So-
don't have that issue.
Do we have all of the cars replaced and needed to be
We have
updated?
two more to go. We have 2 lights waiting there now, we just have to schedule them in, and then possibly 1 more.
Okay, great,
But we should be all set then.
good. Okay, we did that, new vehicles motion, number 10.
10A, you see our December and yearly end of report. That's our standard monthly report. As you can see, we took a total of 14,057 calls for service in the month or year of 2023. Continuing to climb, averaging about 40 calls a day. You also got a 5-year report, which was also included in your end of the year packet that we put together for your 2023 year in review, that you can keep and take a look at. We also attached our required 2023 use of force report. That is required by our policy to bring that to you. Something that's new in there is our 2023 crash report. That is call-outs from our new crash team that we became a part of to show its viability and that it's working. So I put that in there. That was a packet that came from the commander.
So are you using, is that being utilized quite a bit?
Quite frequently, yes, sir. And our crash investigator, if he's available, goes. If he's not, he doesn't. So it has been minimal cost on us, but it's been phenomenal for the two times or 3 times? 2 times, I think it is. Twice that we use it in 2023. So they come on scene and take over so that the road units go back on the road. They don't have to sit there for serious PI or fatal crashes. So.
Okay, we don't have any electrical.
We do not.
Yeah.
We will next month, but we do not. We'll have to meet in the next couple of weeks.
And do we have another?
One more time? I don't have anything other, no, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We did the service dog, number for fire department, number 14.
The year-end presentation, I gave you a copy of our year-end report for your perusal. The expenditure report is not on the actual docket. In fact, none of our stuff made it to the actual docket. Chief Mager did send everything to Margaret on what date was it?
They have the expenditure in their folder.
Yeah, in your folder you have it, but not on the computer, so just to let you know. So you have that in front of you. If you have any questions on that, please let me know.
Let me see, where are we at? We did 16, 17?
Staffing, volunteer, part-time, full-time, and the training report for the year. Our staffing, we have some volunteers that we are asking for approval, which will need to be, either approved by the commission tonight, or if you guys would like to interview the volunteers, that's fine, but we have also a part-time list for you guys to consider tonight, and the 2 full-time hires that we are approved by the council to move forward with.
Well, we're not doing any considering tonight. I didn't, if you added this, I didn't add that.
Okay, on number 20, it says new hires, part-time and hiring list.
I didn't put that in. We're not at a point where we're gonna consider,
Not even the part-time people that the part-time people.
Isn't there part-time people,
We have 4 part-time people that are ready to come on board.
Okay.
That you guys interviewed.
okay,
We
now,
lost 4 part-time people, so we're trying to replace them. The
okay,
council did approve us to move forward with 2 more full-time personnel.
I had a long talk with that, with Nick, and that information you're saying is incorrect. They're right over there as my witnesses.
What do you mean it's incorrect?
He didn't, we are the people that approve hiring,
Correct.
not you.
I am not approving anybody.
You
I'm
just
asking for the
said,
commission
you just
to.
said Nick gave you the,
No, I said, the council gave us approval to move forward.
okay?
And that, in that email thread, Norm, it means we have to go through the commission to get approval.
We're not prepared at this meeting to move forward.
We interviewed everybody and have a list to go off of.
Okay, we have a list that we're gonna go over later on from Jennifer. And at the bottom of this is that she stated, I am looking for directions on proceeding with new hires, physicals, training, uniforms, reimbursements, and so don't we have some people right now that we've recommended to Jennifer, and she has the list?
Jennifer has all of our information needed to get these hires done, as of right now. She met with Sandy, they spent 2 hours together last week. She has everything.
Isn't there some people over there now that we approved a couple months ago?
Yes,
Okay.
and we have processed 2 of them. Did get processed. These are the other ones that you guys approved, or you guys interviewed and put on the list, the hiring list. What I'm asking for is that the commission approve to move forward on the part-time people that you already interviewed to fill those open vacancies. That's what I'm asking for.
Tonight, we're
And then-
not moving forward on that. That's,
I have all my guys working so much overtime, and then, we're being, I'm trying to get these spots filled so we
but
can, these guys.
there's part-time people that are ready to be brought on now, aren't there?
There was 2, yeah. We have 4 more. We've lost
Okay,
6
we
lost 6 part-time people.
Okay,
Because of the full-time people we hired were part-timers.
So, but we're not prepared to move forward tonight. If we have to meet in executive session, we will.
It's 56 of 73.
So, where do we stop at? Monthly activities?
Chief Mugger has the monthly activity because it wasn't emailed.
Month of December, total 173 incidents, 127 which of EMS, 27 of fire, 19 PI accidents, 129 which were inside town, 34 in the township, 10 mutual aid. Overlapping calls for the month of December is 27%, and training hours total was 412.
Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. You mind? We just went through this part-time, information from the chief to you, and it appears there's a disconnect. Todd, does the Board of Safety have the documents, the information about the 4 part-timers you were talking about?
They do.
Because this agenda doesn't show that, and that's Norm's point, I think, that
Correct.
the agenda doesn't reflect the information that is needed to support the action that is sought.
Okay,
Is that
because
fair?
apparently he didn't put it on the agenda.
Who's he?
No, he just said he didn't approve to put it on the agenda. So,
He needs to have documentation, the information about the.
they do have, the whole commission has the documentations on. They have they were in the interview, they also have the applications for them, and I don't know what else.
Actually, the one application, we never met with him.
But I'm not requesting that one, I'm requesting that one to be interviewed for a volunteer. If you read it, if you read the actual list that I put together, that guy was for just as a volunteer, and to interview him for you guys. The documentation was very specific, it spelled out and showed every position and what we were looking at doing. And I thought we were following the proper process. We had interviews with the commission approved the list, and we were gonna go off the other list. We lost 4 part-timers, or 6 part-timers, we replaced 2 of them. We're down 4. We have 4 on the list that are willing to work part-time for us, that's what I'm trying to get approved. And also, the council, I have an email from and a conversation with Nick about moving forward with the full-time, 2 extra full-time hires that we were approved for this year. And I realize that we gotta go through that whole process with the commission, I understand that, but it has to come here first. But if we're not gonna act on anything, I don't understand why.
Just this one meeting. This has gotta be approved, with the money from Jennifer.
Jennifer said that the, budget came back, approved as sent, which was in the budget for this year. The extra people. That was also in my report I sent you guys, and emails.
So anyway, Lexipol, do we have, last month, the subcommittee was going over Lexipol policies, and last month, we didn't get the paperwork to give to the other gentleman. Do we have that paperwork tonight?
You guys all have all the paperwork Sandy put together.
So on those Lexipol, then, so we need to know what numbers we're approving tonight.
Well, I don't think we're gonna approve any of them, because you guys didn't get a chance to, we were supposed to meet last Friday, but you canceled the meeting.
Correct, but Jim and I was down there like a month ago.
Oh, 10/20, just 10/20, or 10/10 recording for you.
We was going, if you want to approve that tonight, we can, but we didn't do it last month because we didn't have the paperwork.
Correct. Can we just do them all together at the
We
next
can.
meeting then? Okay.
Just to clarify, I think we talked about, 801, 911, 1020, 1022, 1021.
We did. I mean, we can approve them tonight, but if you're requesting any others, you still have to meet. We were supposed to meet Friday, and you canceled, and I understand why. It was.
That one was to, talk over our hiring process, which we wouldn't have got that done in one time.
If you guys are prepared to approve them tonight, that'd be great.
I haven't reviewed these, you guys have reviewed them, not me, so.
Okay, that's fine.
You'll have to make a recommendation to me. I know that 1010 policy, is that the one for 15 minutes? We want, no, that's not it.
That one wrote up?
That was changed by your request.
Right.
And I gave it to you for your approval to be looked at, yeah. That was taken out of the policy.
And is
That's
that-
one of the changes.
Is that ready to be approved? That
I
change?
have, where did you put that? I haven't looked at
You guys you were given tonight by one of my firefighters.
Mr. Washington, have you had a chance to review that one?
I have not.
You have not?
I have not.
Okay, then we'll.
I have it here, Norm, I have it here in this package that they gave us.
You asked me to
I did.
take one word out, or
The 15 minutes.
that's all I did.
I haven't looked at the,
Not really.
Mr. Chairman, we really need to consider acting on this tonight, for lots of reasons.
Well, let's just
Most
approve
of them
10-10.
most of them are legal.
Well, if the chief wants to do, give us an update on 1010, explain it for the record, we can vote on 1010 and we can defer the rest of them. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Attorney? 1010, we need to update?
We'd like to get them all approved tonight, but the one that we're talking about updating was the 15-minute change. Being at work 15 minutes early.
1010 needs to be considered.
Tonight, and the rest can wait?
The rest can wait.
Okay. All right, so you want to explain the changes in 1010 to us?
The only change to 1010 was the reporting for duty 15 minutes prior to your shift change. That's it.
So that's not happening anymore, they're not required to report?
Not required, but they do, because it is very important that you give proper relief to your guy that you're giving relief to, especially when you have medicine and everything else that you need to go over, and calls and equipment and stuff, so.
Okay, so what I'm reading here is for relief. It says, members are required to remain on duty until relief. Upon entering the station, it's a member's responsibility to contact the member being relieved and receive a briefing 15 minutes prior to shift change. Now, if you're requiring somebody to be here 15 minutes prior, are you compensating them for that 15 minutes?
That's why it's being changed, that's why it's being changed.
Okay, well, I'm reading it, it's still here.
It's struck on the document,
There's two of them.
You have the one that is current, and then you have the one that we changed. You should have two.
Okay, well, I have this one, let me see.
Strike out.
You got it?
I've got it
Okay.
now.
All right.
Yes, the change has been made. Okay, perfect.
so we have can I have a motion, to, accept the changes in, Lexipol policy 1010?
I'll make the motion to approve the revised 1010 policy.
Second? Second. Roll call vote, please.
James Olthoff?
Yes.
David Villalobos?
Yes.
Lester Caper?
Yes, ma'am.
Norm Stick?
Yes. Thank you.
So now they're going to get paid if they spend 15 minutes?
No, we took that out of there. There's no requirement to come in 15 minutes early.
Okay, they don't have to come in.
Yes, but now the person that stays over for 15 minutes has to be paid
Somebody's
to
got to
get
be
his
paid.
information, right. So anybody that has to work over to receive pertinent information will have to
Well,
be
that
paid.
would only be, either one of the shift captains
As of right now, yes.
instead of the whole department.
That's the change that was made, policy or procedure-wise, yeah.
Do you have anything else? For other, okay, we met in the joint session, the safety board with the town council last night, and, you was sent a copy of this morning, Jennifer sent it over to you?
Yes.
So, she requested, that, this be acted upon?
She requested to you that it be acted upon.
Okay, so that's why I had it sent over to you,
So you're requesting that I follow through with that? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Okay,
She,
as long as it comes from you.
so, let's just start from number one and go down. What do you have this accomplished, or?
I just got it today.
Well, she's been asking for it for quite a while.
And we've been giving her exactly what she's asked for, but it's not accurate enough for her. We've requested a meeting to be able to sit down and talk about it, and she even said, those are discussion points. So if you read the email she sent today, those are discussion points. We have to sit down and talk about a lot of this. We can't provide her with some of the stuff she's requesting. And a lot of it is it's vague. So, and she already has most of everything she's requesting. The policy, she's requesting lexical policies. Margot's had access to our lexical policies for 2 years. She's a user.
Supposedly, we understand that does not have that anymore.
That's correct.
Well, you will see it because we made copies of it today and called Lexipol. And Lexipol sent us the actual users, and it's in our users. Margot's had them for 2 years.
It shows Jennifer.
Not to mention the fact, I have sent the whole PDF file over there on a couple occasions when requested. I have no problem doing it again, but to put on there that we haven't complied with that is wrong. We have. And for what reason do we have to give the clerk treasurer 160 policies that have nothing to do with actual payroll or the department? Why does she need to have a copy of our physical fitness or our physical policy? Stuff like that. What's the necessary reason? If it doesn't have anything to do with the clerk treasurer's office, why am I giving her policies about responding to car crashes? I don't understand why. I have no problem giving her any policies.
Good. Then give her all the policies, and that'll be...
We've already done that, though,
Okay.
Dave.
Now, it says here that the last hard copy policy they received was dated August 2022. Now, I asked you 2 weeks ago to give me a copy of the current policies, the current updated policies, and you provided that.
Yeah.
That's what she's asking. She's got they may be outdated, the ones dated August 2022. And so she's looking now for a current set.
Okay, but that is the current set. What you got is the current set, because there's really not been hardly any changes, if any.
But some of them have been changed.
A few, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what she's looking for, the updated policy. She needs a current set of the policies. So if you send that over for her, that's what she's asking for.
I will do that.
Let's get that done.
So the last line here, what I talked about earlier, I'm looking for directions on proceeding with new hires, physicals, training, uniforms. What does she mean by that?
No idea. No idea. We have a hiring process that we've used for 10 years. 10 total years. And within the last year, it's not the process anymore. I don't understand that, and why.
So, as far as the new hires, are you following the current Lexipol procedures that we have on file?
We do, and Friday, there's so many different processes. We don't deal with processes, we deal with policies and procedures. I have requested a policy and procedure from her office on what she wants from us. Recently, as of last Thursday or Friday, Sandy went down there and met with her for I don't know how long. She was down here a couple hours. And went through the whole hiring process with her on what we need to do, what she wants us to do, and Sandy came back very happy and excited that they were going to handle 99.9% of all of it. I still don't understand what the clerk treasurer wants distinctively in these policies. She makes a vague request, but we send something or give her something, or Chief Mauger gives her something, and then it's not what she wants.
I think maybe you need to sit down with her.
Well, I request...
Rather than send Sandy, you need to sit down.
No, this was just over paperwork,
Okay.
so Sandy was straightening out the paper. I have requested a meeting with her, yes.
Because we're stuck in the middle of this, you're asking us what she wants. You need to sit down with her and figure out what she wants.
I have made that request twice, and I'm waiting for her to respond to me on a date and time to where we can sit down.
So our liaisons, can you chime in on this and?
Yeah, I just want to say, maybe sit down with our new town manager, like tomorrow, ASAP, and say, you want to go over all of this with Jennifer in person with the new town manager there. It's kind of like a...
And it would be nice to have some additional staff members that I don't handle all this paperwork. Sandy handles some of it, Chief Mauger handles the training side of it, scheduling is done by the battalion chiefs, to have everybody sit down with Jennifer and her staff to work this out. Like I said, we've been doing this for 10 years, and it's
I would say...
suddenly a problem.
And for these requests, like I said, sooner rather than later, talk to our new town manager and see if you can meet with her this week, just to go over step by step, just to start with everything on this paper, so there's no questions of misinterpretation.
And it's my opinion that the town council agreed with sending this to you to get these things answered. Correct?
So, Is it also your opinion that, we were authorized to hire 2 people this year, based upon the budget?
Now, did you talk that over with, Nick, the town council president, and then,
I talked it over with Nick and Greg,
okay.
and there's an email thread that says, move forward, included Norm. Norm responded, and Norm, and they understand that it's gotta go through Norm and the Board of Safety. I understood all that. It's the way it's supposed to be. It's the way the police department does, it's the way we do it.
So,
I'm not trying to circumvent that process in any way, shape, or form. What I was told to do was get the ball moving. Because we have been authorized to hire 2 people for this year based upon the budget. Now, the budget came back approved. So what is the hold?
That authorization would fall on our steps.
And that's what I'm asking for,
And
Norm.
basically, the last that I had heard was Jennifer was checking with somebody in downstate or some, Corby or just to firm up that it's a go.
That was weeks ago. She already done that.
I would say if you talk to Nick and Greg, talk to them about that tomorrow, because.
You want me to talk to Nick and Greg? See, this is the
If we
confusing
weren't, no,
thing.
if we weren't privy to
I'm
that,
supposed to
like
be doing
Bob,
things through the Board of Safety, but then now I have council people telling me to circumvent the board
well, you
and go to the town manager and
okay, but Ted, you said you talked to Nick and Greg about it. We just became liaisons.
I did that at the beginning of after the first meeting. I said, we have been approved for 2 more full-time people for this coming year. What process, are we okay to move forward?
I think I'll answer that.
And then,
This needs to be worked, the Public Safety Board and the entire council would like this taken care of. So she has directed you, asked you to talk to Jeff. We're gonna have.
you good with that?
That's for this.
Yes.
Okay, as far as hiring, we're gonna have to have an executive session, because we're not necessarily saying we're gonna hire off of the list. That's never been said. We are going to go for the best candidate we can get.
Under an emergency hire, you could do that, but we put a list together, Norm, so we can hire them. We told people where they ranked on that list.
No, we didn't. You cannot show me, we had this big fight over this, and you cannot show me in any agenda whatsoever where we did the public, we approved that. We are gonna hire the best candidate, we're only getting 2 people.
So you're telling me we're gonna advertise again after we
Yeah.
already created a list that you guys interviewed and ranked?
Last year, we wasn't approved, that we didn't know we was gonna get 2 hires.
You most certainly did know that
We
we were
didn't
gonna
know
get,
that.
based upon if there was a budget that was
Based
approved,
upon,
that's
but,
it.
well,
Yes.
this is the way it's gonna go down. We are gonna hire the best candidate we can get for this town. Both of them. If we can hire a firefighter, if we can hire a paramedic, if we can hire an already EMT, that's the route we're going.
But that's what we did with the hiring process
Well,
in
this is-
December or
I'm just-
November,
I'm telling you, this
to
is
put the
the
list
route-
together.
This board is all in concurrence, this is the route we're going. We're gonna rehire, because we're only getting 2 people. We're gonna get the best 2 possible candidates we can get.
So what you're saying is the people on the list is not
I'm
good
not
enough
saying-
to hire on
I'm
those?
not saying that. I'm saying we're gonna advertise.
You're gonna have, okay.
And by the way, as long as we're talking about advertising, all the advertisements are gonna be handled through the clerk treasurer's office for the police and fire department from now on. So we can get a more uniform distribution, and just a matter of you working with.
Okay.
So that's so at this point in time, I would suggest that this would be your priority to handle this list, and we'll take care of the hiring. And we will schedule an executive session upcoming to take care of this. Mr. Austin.
On the emergency operations plan, I'm meeting with new town manager shortly on this particular item. I'll bring you a report.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you.
Not in public.
Town council liaisons, I love using that word liaisons. Do you have anything, tonight? I know you're new, but we usually ask if you got anything or whatever. So.
I would say that we had an executive session and we discussed stuff, and that sheet was agreed upon between the Board of Safety and the town council to go the direction as you indicated.
Okay, and the new building update, anybody?
It's doing good. They had to slow down a little bit on the fire side just because of the weather, but they did get some walls up. They're hoping to get some relatively good weather to be able to close out the exterior of the FD so they can start working inside, warming up. The police site's completely drywalled. There's mud and tape in it right now, and moving on.
Great. Okay, we are going to be meeting in an executive session with Chief Fisher after this meeting. Do we have 25? Is there anything else to come before the board tonight? Public comment, I'll ask once, twice.
I'd like to say something on their public comment.
Well, you have to go through your process.
Say your name.
My name is Todd Wilkie, I'm the fire chief, 12315 Kennedy Street, Zeeland, Indiana. The actual form you're asking me to go through and comply with, or try to comply with, I wish that I would have had a chance to sit with this board and or the council to explain and or have dialogue with you as well, other than having the clerk treasurer just send you a list of things that she wants, that is demanding me to comply with. There is a reason and a definition, or a reason for every single one of the things that we have tried to comply with. For nobody to hear what we have to say about it and or be discussed with us in any way, shape, or form. And for me to get an email stating from the clerk treasurer that you guys requested this to come to me, I think was a lack of communication between us.
This was decided last night in executive session with the town council.
But the clerk treasurer sent me the actual request.
She was told to do that last night.
I requested her to do that.
Correct. But there's been dialogue with her in reference to all those requests. There hasn't been any dialogue with me about it. I haven't had a chance to explain any of that to you or anybody else and why we're having these issues. Like I mentioned 5 minutes ago, we've been doing this for 10 years, going through this process as a hiring process and paperwork. Suddenly there's been issues lately, but I have asked for direction from them, for that office. I've asked for meetings from the office. And the inconsistency that happens all the time, one day it's one way, one day it's the other day. Ask any of my staff that has to deal with it. We need clarification on a lot of that, because a lot of it's vague. For you to ask me, or for her to demand that I produce all them documents immediately.
I don't think demand's the right word to use.
What did it say?
Well, it was just talked over that,
No, in the document, Norm, it says, I want the board to require the chief immediately.
I don't think there would be a problem to set up, I know I can talk for ourselves, the council, if this needs to come between the council and the safety board, and if you want to present, I mean, I don't think that it could happen.
What I requested is to have either the whole safety board or a couple safety board members, my staff members, and her sit down and figure all this out on what she is actually talking about. And what we have sent her numerous times that didn't meet her, this stuff that she's talking about, we sent her. A lot of it isn't to her satisfaction. But then when we ask, well, what else do you want or what do you need from it, it's, I want a policy. Well, Tell us what you want in the policy. Tell us what you need in the policy. I think this all can be ironed out and cleared up if we sit down as a group and talk about it. There's other underlying issues here.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the paperwork for payroll number 475 that was paid out on 1/14? Do you have the supporting documentation for that payroll?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, you...
What supporting document?
You fill out timesheets, right?
We did.
Okay.
On mine, yeah.
And that would support the guys getting paid. Do you
Yes.
have that paperwork?
No, we don't use paperwork. We use the online computer program.
Okay, so
And
can you
notes.
print that out?
We can.
Okay, so
Okay.
she's asking for the supporting documentation for payroll number 475 that was paid out on 1/4/24.
But her-
Can you provide that to her?
Her office has it.
Okay,
They
can
run
you
payroll,
provide
we
that to
don't.
her? Can you provide her that?
I guess we can. I think it's pertaining to training, right?
No, this is
They
besides
close
the
the
training.
timesheet.
This is besides the training. For the payroll that was paid out on the January the 4th of 2024.
Dave, could you do me a favor and just read that verbatim so I can understand what you're saying?
Payroll documentation for the following pays. Payroll number 475, paid 1/4/24. That's what it says.
Okay.
Do you have that payroll documentation to support that checks that were
We
paid?
do not. We do not print out the paperwork for that.
Okay, can
It
you?
is done through the town's payroll program.
Okay, so you do it
And she
online.
could print it out herself.
Okay, she's asking you to do it. Can you do that?
Why do I?
I don't know,
I
but
guess
you
I can, but I'm not
have-
sure why I have to print out a payroll document when it's done by her department.
Okay, so you can do it. She's asking to do it. Will you please do it?
Okay?
Okay,
If that's
now
what
she's
want me to
asking
do.
you for payroll number 476 that was paid out on January the 18th, 2024. Can you do the same thing? Provide that. Print it out and provide it.
Okay,
That's number
okay,
2.
Yep.
Number 3, all the volunteer trainings, the semi-annual pay for volunteers from June through November of 2023, she's asking for that documentation so that she can cut checks for those volunteers for their training. She needs the paperwork.
She
Can
got
you-
them, and she cut the checks.
Well, she's saying she cut the checks, but she didn't have the paperwork to support it. That's what she's telling us.
Excel spreadsheet, ask Margot Nagy.
Okay,
But Margot Nagy's actually the one that helped us set it up.
okay, so then you'll confer with her and get that box checked, okay? That's box number 3. The training paperwork, payroll 475 paperwork, payroll 476 paperwork. That's what she wants, those 3 boxes. Can you get those checked to her?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I suppose, yeah.
Thank you.
What I'm asking for is if we can get a meeting to sit down and talk about this. 'Cause
Yes. In
For her
addition,
to ask us to give her payroll documents when she handles the payroll and could print it out herself this is what we don't understand. Why she's asking us to print out our payroll when her payroll department does the payroll.
first, get this done, and then second, we'll have the meeting.
Okay?
Thank you.
I don't know what Chief Wilken's referring to, but on the police side, when we have some, I don't know how to
If
describe
it's
it,
anything outside of
normal scheduled
scheduled
pay, we have supporting documents showing why that took place. For
Overtime,
instance, it's
comp time
overtime, comp time training. So there's supporting document that we take, and this might be what she's referring to, but I truly don't know. And then we upload it into the payroll program for the clerk's office to be able to view. So if I authorize Carl Birmingham to work overtime on today's date, there's a supporting document from his shift supervisor, signed by his shift supervisor, provided to the patrol commander and my administrative assistant, then I approve it on one single sheet on payroll day. That's all uploaded into the payroll system, showing the supporting document. I don't know that that's it, but that might be what they're referring to. I truly don't know.
I think what she wants to do is streamline this thing, do it like you do, get the same thing from you as she's getting from you.
Most of this is gonna change in about, 2 months anyways, because we're going to a new system with the whole town, the scheduling system.
We will comply with whatever we can comply with, whatever we can find, or whatever we can do.
Most of it's a single piece of paper that says this chief or this supervisor authorized it, or...
We did discuss that in the past, but that's such a vague request that
I don't know if that's what it is.
So I would ask the liaisons if you could take it back to the rest of the council. You're kind of understand what's going on and talk it over and let us know, and we certainly can oblige you any way we can.
Okay, thank you.
I don't really see, Chief, how we can solve this for you. This is something that the town finance committee, and maybe you should be on the chief, in the meeting.
One more time, sir?
What, you should be on the meeting, maybe, and you guys get together and provide Jennifer with the same payroll information. That's what I think she's looking for. You know, we didn't come up with this, we didn't pull this out of our hindrance. We were told to give this to you. This was discussed last night for quite a long time, and it was decided, give this to the chief, comply with this information. We're not here to have a debate with you. We're stuck in the middle of this. This to me is between the department heads and the payroll department. Would you guys agree? I mean, we're getting nowhere
Yeah,
here.
I will do exactly what Julie recommended. I will get a hold of the town manager and ask to set up a meeting, and I'll invite Chief Fisher and Carl to the meeting as well, so we can get on the same page.
Yeah.
And maybe that would make her life easier and my life easier. That's fine, but to send out vague information that we request details and don't get them back, so it's, you know, that's what we're trying to do. We need some details on what is needed. And she has provided some details, but when we provide something back to the payroll office, then there's something else that's needed, and but it's not explained to where it needs to be. So the whole thing, I think, we can work it all out, is if we just sit down and do it, and have the right players at the table, that's all. I'm not opposed to any of it, in any way, shape, or form, nor will I fight about it. I'm not in that position.
Very good, thank you.
And hopefully we'll get some consistency. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any more public comment? Step forward, please.
Good evening, Safety Board, members of they're not trustees here, they're the council. Randy Nance, 14726B Cary Street. Just curious, on the website, along with on the Facebook, there was postings about openings for the Safety Board. I actually put in my application for that. There was something very short mentioned at the very first town council meeting that they're not filling it, they may be going a different way.
That would be up to...
Right.
Are there any, like...
Updates?
Because, like, there was nothing,
Right.
email or anything.
I mean, I personally would like it filled, because even if there is one separate commission for police and one for fire, we still need 5 people on each board. So I think it's just been stalled because we're looking into having a separate one for police and a separate one for fire.
Right.
So, so just don't think you're counted out. We have not, gone any further with developing one for fire.
Is there any timeline or anything for that?
There may be some action coming up shortly.
So the best bet's just to keep showing up to meetings and showing up to town council meetings and...
And if you get selected or if you don't get selected, don't take offense to that.
Oh, no, I won't.
But there is one of our council members that is considering, wanting to appoint somebody to this board.
Great, well, thank you very much, and I hope I'm
Thank you
under
for applying,
consideration.
too.
Yep, certainly.
We would like to see the spot filled.
Right.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys have a safe evening.
Thank you for your interest. Any other public comment? Then I declare this meeting adjourned.